AITAH for only staying with my dad when I come home for breaks, since my stepdad said he doesn't like me being at my mom's. Posted by you/background heater. I, 21F, am in my junior year of college. I go to school 3.5 hours away and usually only go home during breaks. My parents have been divorced since I was 7. Both are remarried with other kids. My mom, 47F, is married to Rich, 48M, and they have 2 sons, 8 and 10. My dad, 50M, and stepmom, 45F, have a 12-year-old son, and I have 2 stepsisters, 22 and 24. I had a good childhood, though, and always got along with everyone, I thought. Before I left this summer, Rich was coaching my brother's soccer team and gave me his phone so my younger brother could play a game on it. At one point, the phone shut off, so I plugged it into my battery pack. When it turned back on, there was a text from his brother saying, "Yeah, that's rough, but at least she's gone most of the time." I saw the text it was responding to, and it basically said that Rich always preferred when I was at my dad's house, and said all step-parents probably feel the same way, so he doesn't feel bad. I didn't snoop anymore and gave the phone back to my brother. I still plan on seeing and hanging out with my mom and brothers, but I told her I was just going to stay at my dad's on breaks from now on. I didn't tell her why, but I always hated having 2 houses anyway. I never wanted to just pick one because I loved them both, and they always said they all loved me being there and missed me when I was gone. I feel stupid for believing them, but I guess that's growing up. I told my dad and stepmom it was because my mom was having work done on her house, and they're thrilled I'll be staying there, I think. My mom is upset, but I told her it will just make things easier. I don't want to start a fight between her and Rich, and I won't make a big deal about anything. I plan on living at home for a while after I graduate to save money, and it'll just be easier to go towards just staying at one house anyway. I know my mom's sad, but I think this is the best for everyone and will make the most people happy. My boyfriend thinks I should just keep staying at both, but I don't know. I'm excited about just having one place to stay. But am I the jerk for not staying at my mom's part of the time? Top/relevant comments. Commenter. Not the jerk. You get to decide how you spend your breaks, but you are going to create a needlessly complicated relationship with your mom if you never tell her the real reason for your choices. I wonder if your stepmom might feel the same way sometimes? Letting your stepparents define your relationship with your parents based on their secret confession seems like a bad idea, particularly if you never express it. Op's response. She says she loves it when I'm there, and the house doesn't feel the same if me or either of my stepsisters are gone. But yes, I worried for a while that neither of them liked me being there and kind of freaked out lol. Maybe because she has other kids, and Rich doesn't? But yeah, maybe my stepmom would prefer if I just stay at my mom's and won't say. But then I have nowhere to stay lol. Commenter 2. I think you need to sit down and have a serious conversation with your mom and stepdad. It is entirely possible that this is mostly benign venting, and yes, some stepparents find having stepchildren, who are only there occasionally and who have a significant age gap with the other children, to be awkward. Or it could be indicative of a serious problem. But being the bad guy, letting your mom think you are the one creating distance, is not going to end well. Approach it non-confrontationally, but you need to get it out in the open. Op's response. I just feel like telling my mom would either cause issues in her marriage, which I don't want, or she might agree like someone else says, and I don't think I would like to know if she agrees with Rich about this, to be honest. Commenter 3. What a hard situation, and you should only stay where you feel most comfortable. But, in my opinion, you should tell your mom the truth. Not the jerk. But if you were your mom, would you want your kid to tell you? Op's response. I don't know, probably not. Someone else mentioned my mom might actually agree with Rich and prefer when I'm not there, so I don't want to ask her because if I found that out, I'd be upset. Edit. I don't know why everyone is so mad at me about that. I'm just being honest. I'm not arguing with anyone. Commenter 4. You are the jerk. You just decided to read some texts without any particular reason, and then you chose to punish your mother without explaining why. People have bad days and rough patches sometimes, but is your stepfather truly a bad person, or has he mistreated you? Or are you jumping to conclusions to stir up drama? Op's response. I didn't choose to read the message. It popped up when I was helping my brother, and I saw my name, and of course I'd read it. I'm human, lol. He was never cruel to me, but knowing that he thinks this way explains a lot of the things he's done and said throughout my life. Op adds an edit to her post. I really don't know if I'm ready to talk to my mom about this, guys. We had some rough years when I was a teenager, and it's a little better now, but it would be devastating to find out she felt the same way. When I say I'm an adult, it just means that I don't depend on her anymore, not that I think I'm mature. If I was, I would probably have already told her and not asked Reddit lol. But that's not going to be an easy discussion, and I'm already hurting a lot. I know she's hurting, too, but I'm still the kid, and I'm just saying that it's going to hurt a lot. I'm probably going to tell her, I just can't right now. I'm sorry. Update 6 days later. I posted a few days ago about accidentally seeing a text on my stepdad's phone of him saying that he preferred for me to be at my dad's, so I decided that when I come home from college I would only stay with my dad. Everyone told me to tell my mom, some nicely but some not. I really didn't want to do that. But sorry I came across as argumentative. It wasn't on purpose, it was just like, the thing is that it felt like way more people cared about my mom's feelings over mine. And I get it, I've always done that too, but I've been working on it. But I took all of your advice and talked to my mom. I wish I hadn't. She had called me a few times about Thanksgiving and the plan, and then was telling me I should just stay with them. So I told her that I just felt like Rich doesn't love it when I'm there. I didn't tell her about the text. I just knew she'd yell at me and accuse me of snooping, even though I absolutely didn't. I just said I got the feeling that things were easier for them when I stayed at my dad's. She told me that of course it was easier when I wasn't there. It's hard having someone who only lives with you part of the time because it's harder to bond and plan around, and messes up routines. She said it really nonchalantly, like of course it's cold in the winter. I wish she had just left it at that, but then she was saying that I'm too much like my dad and reminded them too much of him. That hurt because my dad has said something similar before, so it's like I can't make anyone happy. She told me that I'm an adult now and should have already realized these things, but that she still loves me and wants me there. But these things are complicated, and she didn't like feeling as if I preferred or picked my dad over her. I got mad. I felt like she was just defending her stupid husband, trying to force me out of their lives and not listening to me. She told me that she defends me to Rich all the time, because blended families are just complicated. I told her I was going to still stay at my dad's then, so she wouldn't have to keep dealing with all that. But she basically insinuated my dad and stepmom probably felt the same way. That hurt a lot, and I hung up on her after asking her to have my back for once in my freaking life. I think I just knew deep down that she felt this way, so I wish I hadn't talked to her about it. I just feel so bad. I wish I had just kept my mouth shut and done my original plan, which was to tell her that my stepsister had asked me to help her with her baby and that's why I was staying there, but I had to make it all worse. I guess she told Rich because he ended up calling me. I didn't answer, but he left a voicemail and apologized. He said he was sorry if anything he did or said made me think that he didn't want me around. He didn't intend for that. But he didn't, deny any of it, so it didn't make me feel any better. I won't be returning his call anyways. I haven't really talked to them since. I texted to ask what the times for Thanksgiving were because every year I have to figure out how to make all of the houses work, but haven't heard back. She does this sometimes, so I'm not too worried. I'm sure she'll reach back out if she feels bad or needs something. I know some people pointed out it's unfair to my stepmom and dad for me to stay with them full time because they probably feel the same way, but I don't have anywhere else I can stay when I'm home. My boyfriend says I could stay with him at his parents', but I don't know how I'd explain that, and they're from Mexico, so I'd need to go home anyways to get my passport. So I'm going to stay at my dad's and just hope that they don't feel the same as my mom and stepdad. But I guess I feel like if even my mom feels that way, it's likely my dad does too, and that sucks to know. Before anyone says anything, no, I'm not going to tell my dad any of this. If you had divorced parents, you'll understand. You can't really complain about the other parent, or they just gloat and make it all about them. Also, I wasn't a bad kid. I had good grades, played sports, had a job, and didn't get into trouble. My parents are just really critical of me. I think I just remind them too much of the other, and as I got older I got sick of always being nitpicked over every little thing I do, so I stood up for myself, and they didn't like that. But I don't regret it. I did talk to my dad. He said he was thrilled I'd be staying with him and that they loved having me there. But sometimes I think he exaggerates. I don't know if he and my stepmom feel the same as my mom and Rich, but if they do, I'd rather not know now. Let's just say I won't be going through my stepmom's phone. I don't know. I graduate next year and figured I'd live at home for a bit to save money. But now I kind of feel like I don't belong at either house in the end. My boyfriend and I have talked about moving to the coast after college, and that would be nice. I feel like all of this has really changed how I view, my entire childhood, and it sucks that maybe I was never really as wanted as I thought. I don't know, it sucks. My boyfriend says I should try to look at it as a good thing, as weird as that sounds. Like freeing? I always felt like I owed a lot to my parents and needed to make them happy, but maybe I don't, and I guess that is kind of freeing. My boyfriend also told my friend he was going to propose in the spring, which is exciting. I am in no hurry though. We've been together for years, but I never wanted to be married before I was 25. But with everything going on, who knows? Top/relevant comments. Commenter. I'd text message Rich and say you accidentally saw the messages he wrote to his brother. You're not going home. I think you assume a lot without actually knowing, and that is part of the problem. You have also told your mom that you assume she doesn't want you, not that you have actual physical proof from her husband that you're not wanted. You are acting like you are the problem here, and being treated like it. I feel as if I am not welcome, isn't the same as I've seen evidence your husband doesn't want me there. Similar with Dad. Honest conversation. If it transpires that he'd rather not have you there, then make other plans. Work the holidays at uni. Go on holiday. Have a Friendsgiving. Better than being unwanted. Find your own peace. Ops response. Yeah, I told her I assumed, and then she freaking confirmed it. What am I supposed to do with that? I didn't have to even say that I had proof. They just admitted it. I won't be able to handle it if my dad tells me the same thing. Commenter 2. Your dad and stepmom do not feel the same way. Your mom is projecting because she knows she and her husband are jerks. You need to have the conversation with your father. Commenter 3. This right here is the answer. She is projecting, just like if you're with a guy who constantly accuses you of cheating. He's probably the one cheating, or girl as it were. They don't want you around, and they're trying to make you feel like nobody wants you around because then it's easier on them. You, inside, knew that your mom already felt like this, and I know it hurts, but it's for the best that you know exactly how she feels. I wouldn't even suggest going to Thanksgiving with her this year. It's going to be really hard to hear that sometimes parents aren't good people. And you're still rather young, so you're still learning this. It's clear she said something to Rich, however, or he wouldn't have called. I'm pretty certain he knows that you saw the messages on his phone and just doesn't want to outright bring it up. Best wishes. Second update 10 days later. I'm 21F and in my junior year of college. My parents are divorced, and I recently had a falling out with my mom and stepdad, so I have only been staying at my dad's when I go home. The falling out was basically because I found out that my mom and stepdad thought it was easier and less stressful when I wasn't there or was at my dad's, so I'm just giving them what they want. At my dad's are dad, 50M, stepmom Dana, 45F, her daughters Callie, 24F, and Sienna, 22F, Sienna's son Aaron, and my 12-year-old half-brother Sam. Maybe, almost certainly, it doesn't matter, but the house was the one I was born and raised in, and my room there has literally always been my room. It's a 5-bedroom house, and all of us have our own room. Sienna shares with Aaron. I went back this week and had asked to talk to Dana. She took me to lunch, and when we got there, she admitted she had wanted to talk to me, too. Aaron turns 3 soon, and she thinks it would be good for him to have his own room. Since I'm going to be spending half my Christmas break with my boyfriend and his family, she thought it would be sweet to surprise him on Christmas morning with his own room. Which, yes, will be adorable. She said that when I came back in town for whatever, Sienna would share a room with Callie so I would still have my own space. I know I should say of course. Let me help you decorate. And I don't know why I just can't. Like, I am 21, go to school, and only come back for breaks and summers. Of course the kiddo living there all the time should have his own room. Plus, I haven't told them this, but I accepted an internship in the same city as my boyfriend's internship this summer, so I won't be coming home. I don't need a shrine to myself at my dad's house when it could go to better use. And my room is kinda the best room. It has 2 windows and is slightly bigger than the others. And she doesn't know about my falling out with my mom because I haven't told anyone on that side. Also, I might not even move back to my hometown if I get a job where my internship is. But, and I know this is so selfish, I go home randomly, like decide the day before, and even if Sienna actually is fine sharing with Callie, I'd feel like I couldn't just pop home whenever I want. She'd need notice. I was planning on bringing my boyfriend down more since we're getting pretty serious, and I don't think I could do that if I was staying in her room. And I know if I wasn't fighting with my mom, it wouldn't even be an issue because I could just stay there. So that's kind of on me. So I didn't really give an answer. I know if I said something, my dad would stop it. He was saying last night that Callie and Sienna could share a room full time, and there's no point in me moving my stuff. Dana didn't really say anything, but I don't think she agrees with him. I think there's an unspoken understanding that my parents are paying all of my rent and tuition while I'm in school. I work in summers and holidays, but not when I'm in school, and that's just fun money. So it's like they're paying for me to have my own room still low. And Sienna and my dad used to not get along great. Callie was happy for him to be in their lives, but their dad is kinda a piece of crap, and I think anytime my dad did anything for them, Sienna wanted her dad to be doing it. But it's gotten a lot better since she had Sam. My dad helped her a lot in dealing with her jerk ex, and her own dad basically never calls, and they have ended up mending things. So I kind of feel like my dad's shown me I should help family even if you're not a huge fan, and I should do so, too. I'm not asking if I am the jerk, because I know I am. I have a job at home on holidays, and all my coworkers think I should let him have it. My best friend said that it would be the nice thing to do. Obviously, my dad's side is for it. The only person who hasn't said I should is my boyfriend, but it might just be because he's taking my side, lol. Sienna and I used to fight all the time, just like we were the same age and pretty different, and I was always jealous she got to spend more time with my dad. And it's been better. But not great. She goes to the same bar as my mom, and I guess told her about it since she doesn't know we're fighting. But now my mom's been texting me like, "See, you'll need to stay with us anyways, so stop being a brat." Sorry I'm rambling. I only get to see my therapist once a month and won't be able to again until December 17th, lol. And I'm trying not to annoy all of my friends with my drama. I know I can get annoying and don't want to burn them out. /relevant comments. Commenter. Tell your dad and stepmom about the falling out. I read your first post. Your dad and stepmom clearly care about you, your comfort, and your wants. Tell them what happened. As far as the room goes, I have no real advice to give, but if you don't plan on moving back in at any point, it unfortunately makes sense to give up your permanent space for the child who lives there full time. But it really seems like everyone in that house is happy to make space and accommodate you when needed. Ops response. No, it's only once a month and books up. I know it's probably the right thing to do, but also it feels like now I can't move back after school. I don't know how to explain it. Like I'm really on my own now. Commenter 2. If you are planning on bringing your boyfriend around more, I think the most courteous thing to do for everyone involved would be to give the kid your old room and get a hotel with your fun money. You can still go home anytime you want, have your own space, and not feel like you're inconveniencing anyone ever that way. Ops response. I'm not going to lie. I don't know how often I'd come home if I had to book a hotel room every time I came back. I'd probably stay at my mom's before that, lol. Commenter 2. Do you see yourself patching things up with her or keeping up no contact? I think if you weigh those options, it might help you make a decision as well. Ops response. I mean, she asked me to get a drink with her last night and I had a bit too much, lol. So I spent the night there. So that was annoying, but I got the documents I needed, lamau. But I just don't feel comfortable staying there for a long period of time anymore. Third update 3 days later. Holy snow. I had a bunch I wanted to do today and am stuck inside. It's fine, but disappointing. I've had a really bad week. I went home this week for Thanksgiving and wanted to talk to my stepmom. Instead, before I could talk, she ended up asking me if it was okay for me to give up my room for my stepsister Sienna, 22F's son Aaron, who's about to turn 3. Since both my stepsisters, I have another who's 24, and my 12-year-old half-brother also live there and it's only 5 bedrooms, and since I'm only there sometimes, it makes sense. But it was not a good time, and I tried for a few days to try to tell them no, and even told my dad what was going on with my mom. But it was like the decision had already been made, and they just wanted my buy-in. And maybe for me to clean out my room. On Thanksgiving, my stepmom outed me to my dad about how I started taking Wellbutrin recently. My mom and dad are both doctors, but they're surgeons and not psychiatrists, and I hate it when they know my medical business anyways. I don't know how my stepmom even found out. So I ended up taking all of my stuff I care about and leaving early the day after Thanksgiving. I'm back at my apartment where I go to school. It's lonely and snowing, but my boyfriend, 26M, changed his flight so he could come back to town sooner when he found out. I hope he's not delayed, but I'm sure he will be, and I feel bad. I told both my parents I'm not going home for Christmas. I have nowhere to stay despite my mom saying I should just stay with her. I don't want to. I was only going to spend 1 week with my boyfriend's family, but they said I could stay the whole time, so I will. I hope I'm not an imposition, but I'll be helping out as much as I can. So I don't know. I haven't even told them that I got an internship this summer in New York. It was an incredibly competitive one, and all of my friends and their parents know, and that was nice telling them. But I know when I tell my parents, they're going to be mad they found out last, so I keep putting it off. So yeah, here I am stuck in the snow waiting for people to come back into town because my parents suck. Maybe I'll make a snowman friend, lol. If anyone knows the best season of 90 Day Fiancé for me to binge on HBO today, I'd appreciate it. Please don't tell me to go to therapy. I already am, and it's just whatever. /relevant comments. Commenter. I'm very concerned with how your stepmom found out about your Wellbutrin. Who knew about that? Is there a chance she looked up your medical records? And I'm sorry, please know that your personal worth has nothing to do with your family of origin. Plenty of adults have found family that are just as deep and caring as any blood family. Ops response: I don't know. I'm on her insurance, but I got it from the student health center and used a local pharmacy, so it's not on my chart or in the system for their pharmacy. Commenter 2. Did you have it with you when you visited? If yes, were there opportunities she could have gone through your stuff? Ops response: Sure, but I doubt it. Commenter 3. Well, since she couldn't see your medical info, face it, she went through your stuff. You need to talk to your dad about them kicking you out. Ask him if that was his decision as well. So, your dad can support her also adult daughters and grandkids and say "Fi" you to his daughter. Also, ask him how she knew about your meds. Yes, she kicked you out. That's basically what she did. So a 3-year-old could have his own room, right? 3-year-olds generally don't like sleeping alone. And her single mother daughter gets a free pass. That 3-year-old's mom is getting knocked up again. At least after you talk to your dad, you'll know where you stand. If he caves to her, I'm sorry. I know you said you're on her stepmother insurance. Is there anything else you rely on them for? Time to gray rock and cut down on contact. Sounds like you could use a different therapist as well. These people suck. Hope your boyfriend got in okay. Fourth update 1 month 2 weeks later. Happy New Year everyone. Thanks for all of your advice and everything on the issues with my parents. I know it's all been a little complicated, but I am so happy now. I'm engaged. I obviously didn't go home for the holidays. After our last exam, my boyfriend, I'll call him Gabe, and I flew to SoCal where his parents live and stayed with them for a few days. My dad came out for a few days, just him, so that was nice. I got a lot of gossip on my stepsisters, so that was fun. Oh. And I got another win. I was pretty angry about my room at my dad's and my stepsister taking it for her son, and all I could think about was how my brother, half-brother, is 12 and in the smallest room. Why should a toddler have the biggest? So I kind of made a whole stink about it with my dad and his mom. Dana couldn't really argue and had to deal with Sienna being a huge bee about it, but now my brother has my old room. My dad said that Sienna probably had planned on giving my room not to her son, but to herself after a few beers. He deserves it, he's the sweetest kid ever. Anyways, back to the exciting news. He proposed on the beach on Nye. He was going to propose on his favorite beach back in Mexico, but instead we went to a beach he'd never been to before. It was beautiful, and now it's our beach. He technically proposed with his grandmother's ring, which is beautiful but so big and kind of scary, and he knows how anxious I get, so he also got me a plain gold band I can wear daily. He knows I don't want to get married until after college, and definitely don't want kids until I'm probably 27 to 30, and is okay with that. He said he just didn't want to not be engaged to me any longer. We'll probably get married in the winter of 2027 or spring of 2028, and we'll be living together this summer and all of next semester. It's important for me to live with someone before I marry them. And his family has been so welcoming. All of the women on his mom's side have worn the same veil for over 100 years at their wedding. They said it's not a big deal if it's not my style, and his aunt even offered to sew me a new one that I like more, but it's so pretty. They said we could circle back after I pick out my dress, and I really want to invite them dress shopping with me. I usually get anxious about telling my parents these things, because I never know who to call first. But it was late, and my 3 half-brothers have a Discord together, so I just logged in and told them, because why wouldn't they be online at 11:30 p.m.? I guess they disseminated the info, and my stepmom texted me on the group chat the next day asking if it was true. I sent them a picture of us and the ring. My mom called and wanted to start talking about logistics, and said she would take me dress shopping. I told her I wanted his mom and aunts invited. She asked if I wanted to invite my stepmom, not in a nice way, more so in a well, you know, Dana will never be able to do something like this with her girls, and I said I'd think about it. I feel so much better. Everything this past semester seems so silly now. Who cares about having a room at my parents'? I don't need that. I'm getting married. I will be living with my fiancé/husband. I haven't told them about my internship yet, that's just a future me problem, but it'll be fine. Thank you for all of your advice and for hearing me whine in my posts. I think I'm going to be just great. Top/relevant comments. Commenter. I'm so happy for you. It sounds like you'll be much more wanted at his family's place, so I would just go there for holidays. Put energy into people who put energy into you. And don't invite your stepmom to your wedding dress shopping. She has 2 daughters, she can do it with them. I personally don't think she deserves to be there for it, given how she's treated you and bulldozed over your feelings. And do the wedding dress shopping near you or your fiancé's family. Your mom can travel if she wants to attend. There are 2 of your fiancé's family coming, so it makes more sense. Ops response: I want to go shopping in New York when I'm there this summer for sure. I probably won't invite Dana. My stepsisters probably won't have a big wedding like I'll have, but I'm sure she can take them one day. Commenter 2: I'm sorry to barge in here, but I am confused. In your past posts, you made your mom out to be a really bad parent, especially after agreeing with her piece of crap husband. On the other hand, it seemed like Dana was much more accepting and supportive of you. I get it that maybe you are pissed about this whole room thing, and it pissed me off too, but it's still clear that Dana cared about you, while your stepfather straight up said he doesn't like you coming. To me, it's wild that your mom acts now like all is good and makes mean comments about your stepmom, and you go along with it. If anything, Dana deserves your invite more than your mother. It kinda seems like you want to punish her for the room situation. I get it was handled the wrong way, but come on. If you don't mind, I would like to hear your thoughts on this, Op, because I feel confused a bit now, and I am not sure if I am missing something, or was the room really such a big deal, or what it is. Op's response: I guess my mom is still my mom. She still insists I have a room at her house, and I am always welcome there. Meanwhile, Dana schemed to give my room to her grandson so that her daughter would stop bothering her. I feel like that was the line in the sand. I probably would have invited her and included her in everything before that, but after her little antics with my room, she is just my dad's wife now. Commenter 2: I understand. But by your own account, 1, stepmother was helpful to you and treated you well. 2, your mom agrees with her husband about how it's hard to connect with you and all. 3, stepmother asked you about the room while not knowing the situation with your mom. 4, her asking about your room actually makes sense, and you admitted that too, because you will be less and less there. I think your anger, if we can call it that, towards stepmother is misplaced and is only there because of the situation with your mom and stepfather. Stepfather, who straight up said he doesn't like having you there. Your stepmother, while not knowing this, still says she wants you to come and that your stepsister will move for the time of your visits. What I am saying is, your mom and stepfather are cruel. Your stepmother is still good to you and is trying to accommodate you. And stepmother's request actually makes sense. Even if it's for the childish reason of not having to listen to the bitching of your stepsister. Honestly, I'm not sure if stepmother isn't more of a mom to you than your actual mom. Anyways, thank you for your reply and clarification. I understand how you might feel, even though I disagree with you to some extent. Have a great rest of the day. Op's response: But Dana also outed me for taking antidepressants and disregarded my protests about losing my room, even when I told her the reason. It's clear that she thinks her girls and grandson need to be prioritized over me. While my mom has said, in front of him, that my stepdad's opinion doesn't matter, and I should come home whenever I want. I told her since I'm engaged now we probably get a hotel when we come home, and she's offered to pay for them, but reiterated we can stay at her house. Dana has just shown her ass and her true feelings about me, and ruined our relationship beyond fixing.